Good morning, everybody. Otter Creek Redneck. This is the Otter Creek Wildlife Area. And this is Otter Creek. I came up here today, wander around these snowmobile trails, and look for some deer antler sheds. Follow the snowmobile trails, follow the deer trails. Yeah, Otter Creek here. This is a trout stream. This is public land in Otter Creek, so you can come here and you can trout fish. There's also deer hunting available, grouse hunting, pheasant hunting, and snowmobiling. You can snowmobile through here. It's part of the statewide trails. So let's see what we can find. There was not a lot of snowmobiling going on this year. We did get snow, but there was not much at once or to stick around long enough so that the trails could be groomed. They were open for a little bit. As you can see here, this grass on this trail here is not even knocked down. Yeah, I'm just looking to see where deer trails come out. This Otter Creek area, public land here, is 80 acres, which is a good chunk of land. Oh, there's somebody's deer stand right there. Nice box blind. Yeah, the snowmobile trail goes on to private property right here, so we're going to cut over this way. And it looks like there is a deer trail here. So let's follow along. No, I don't know how many other people are out here looking for sheds. Probably a couple. Well, we'll see if they missed anything. There's another nice trail, following right along the edge of the woods. There's somebody's 5-gallon bucket that I bet you they were sitting on deer hunting. Look at this. Otter Creek Bayou. You can see the flowing creek over there. And at one time, the current had come up around this corner, this sharp bend here, looped back around, and eventually it cut right through. Turned that into an island. That's pretty sweet. Let's keep moving. Well, there's that Otter Creek Bayou with a little island. Come out of there, turn down the trail, and come across this. It's a line of buck rubs. That buck was taking care of that little cedar tree. Then it moved up here and went on to this little jack pine. And then took care of this one, another jack pine. Done a nice buck rub here on this jack pine. Did another one there. And look at this jack pine. Look at this rub here. Still on the trail right here. As it cuts into the woods. Get through this prickly ash. Yep. Look at this. Here's where they cross. Well, there's no way I'm going to try and get across here. Now, just last week, last Sunday, we had about 12 to 15 inches of snow in a blizzard. And then this week it got up into the 40s, 50s. And yesterday it was actually 75 degrees. So all that snow melted, which made Otter Creek get full. Well, we're not going to try to cross right now. We'll go back here, follow the edge of the woods along. Seeing if there's a trail that goes into the woods somewhere along here to follow. But I'm not seeing anything that jumps right out at me. We'll climb back up here. You never know what you're going to find, but you'd better get out in the woods. You know what I think this is? I think that's a bear den. Yeah, that's a bear den. Guaranteed. Dug into the bank. Turn my flashlight on to see if I can see anything better in there, but it's big. Definitely big. And there's no way I'm going in there. So folks, get out into the woods. You see cool stuff. Well, there are no fresh tracks here. So either that bear is still in there or it's left and it's been gone a while. If it's still in there, I'm not going to bother it. I did turn my flashlight on my phone and I couldn't see anything because it was still too dark in there. I marked it with a pin and I'll submit it to the DNR because they have a program that they want people to submit best locations for bear den. Just keep scanning the ground. If you guys see anything that I miss, you let me know. Give me a timestamp on the video. There it is. There's another one right there. Probably a littler buck because bigger bucks work bigger trees. Yeah, he's working right through down this trail. Same little buck. I can tell why deer want to walk up here. Otter Creek is right down here. Now, if I was a bigger buck, I'd have a trail right along this bank. And look at this. There's a trail right along this bank. Yeah, these bucks, they will follow the edges, but they're going to be inside, just inside a little bit. There's Otter Creek down there. So let's follow this trail on the inside here. Okay. Somebody left their ratchet strap here. They must have had a little stand here, a little ladder stand that it was tied to. Not a bad view. Now you might be wondering why I'm following this trail in the woods. Not along the edge where that other trail is. It's right there by that bigger tree right there. Well, when bucks make rubs, they make those in late summer and in the fall during the rut. But when they drop their antlers in February and March, they're going to drop their antlers along trails they're most likely to be on. And that's this one here. Tempted to walk out on that ice shelf, get closer, but I'm afraid it would break off under my weight. That would not be fun. Would you look at that? Zoom in on that. What we have right there, that is a ladder stand, and that is illegal. You cannot permanently place stands on public land in Wisconsin. That stand has to be removed every day when you leave. So somebody's coming out here and hunting on the stand and leaving it. That is illegal. Pretty nice spot. Now let's keep following this trail. I see why they want that stand there. One trail goes down the bottom of the hill, follows along the creek bottom there. The other one goes along here, so he's hunting this both of these trails Now this trail comes out here a little ways. And there's a place where the sun don't shine. Must have been a pretty good drift here coming across that open field. And I bet you there's a deer trail coming out right here. And I'm right. Deer tracks going right out to that field. Let's go on in. There we are, another buck rub. One way you can follow deer trails if you can't really see them on the ground is follow the poop. Goes right in here. Gets a little thick some places. And there's Otter Creek again. We back down below this branch. We're down near the level of the Otter Creek right now. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get me a good pair of waders. Come down here trout fishing. I think that would be a blast. Nice deep hole right here. Look at that. How it comes. Goes around that way. Makes a big loop around. And comes right over there again. Eventually, it will probably cut its way right through here and turn this area off to our left into a bayou or a slough. Back on the deer trail. That comes down here. Which I'm not going down into the mud. It goes back in. Sure does follow the creek right along the edge. This is cool. I could sit there and listen to that all day long. One reason I get out in the woods. Look at the size of that ice sheet. And this is just a small portion of this 80 acre of public land. We're just on the west side of the creek right now. Most of this public land is off to our left on the other side of the creek. There's that field right there in front of us now. That's the boundary. That's private where that field is. Still looking for sheds around here. Huh. Look at this. It's like a, I don't know if turkeys were in here scratching. It's a little bit low. These branches are a little bit low to be a buck scrape. Well, you see what's in front of us again? More buck rubs. Holy moly, look what I just spotted. You think there's big bucks in Wisconsin? Look at this. I said a little earlier that big bucks prefer big trees. How's that for a buck rub? And then over here, look at this one. He spent a lot of time here. Boy, I can smell the pine pitch on this jack pine. One of the things you want to know about buck rubs is you can tell the direction the buck was going when he was making it. So this rub here is on facing us. So he's pointing straight the same direction we are. So that meant he came in here. So I bet you if we follow this edge along, we will find more buck rubs like that. He seems to be working the edge. Yeah, we've never gotten more than 100 yards from private land. Found all kinds of interesting things. Gopher mounds. They like it in Otter Creek, that's for sure. These deer were using this trail on the outside here all winter long. You can see their old tracks in the snow here now. This drift is still a foot deep. Here's a wash. Goes right down to Otter Creek. What an adventure. Trail coming down into the wash and going right up there. This is neat. This is really neat. Right down on Otter Creek. And there's somebody else's deer stand right there. It's an old one. Looks like it's fallen down. Well, let's go back up this wash and follow that deer trail back towards the parking lot. This seems to be a pretty nice trail through here. Got a little bluebird, an eastern bluebird in front of me here. You probably can't see it, but it's about 10 yards in front, 30 feet. Yep, bluebirds are here. Spring is on its way. And we're back to the snowmobile trail. Well, we're about 100 yards from the parking lot. I think I'll let you go right now. Appreciate you coming along with me for this walk. We saw some pretty cool stuff. Found that bear den, which is awesome. Found somebody's illegal deer blind. Lots of buck rubs, lots of sign, lots of trails. And of course, Otter Creek. That's always a crown jewel. Well, Otter Creek Redneck signing off. Thanks for watching.